In 1962, the Seattle World's Fair opened with great fanfare. The hope was it would lead to a cleaner, brighter downtown and give folks in the Northwest a brand new place to visit, sort of like a one-time only Disneyland.
And it even had a monorail like the Disneyland in Southern California, but what it didn't have, at least at first, was big crowds. You see, that summer, it was the place to go for folks even hundreds of miles away in Oregon. The fair offered a glimpse of what the future might bring. Tonight, as we look back on 50 years of KEZI TV, a visit to the 1962 Century 21 Exposition. By 1962, the space race was on. By design, Americans were being encouraged to look not just outward, but upward. So it made sense that the so-called Century 21 Exposition would feature as its symbol and centerpiece a soaring tower called the Space Needle. When it was built in 1962, it was the tallest building west of the Mississippi. Its revolving restaurant, only the second in the world. The aura of the place was one of unlimited promise and innovation. In fact, President Kennedy opened the fair by turning a key in the Oval Office.
May we open not only a great World's Fair, may we open an era of peace and understanding among all mankind. Let the fair begin.
It made sense then to move fairgoers by means of a monorail, the first commercially based system in the U.S. We can look back on it now as a successful urban experiment, a triumph of public policy and planning. But the '62 World's Fair was also notable for a nearly forgotten tragedy. During opening ceremonies, one of the jets in the flyover developed engine trouble. The jet crashed into a neighborhood below, destroying 2 homes and killing an elderly couple in one of them. A major theme of the fair was to show that the U.S. was not behind the Soviet Union in the newly inaugurated race to the moon, even though the Soviets had put the first man into orbit. As a result, looking to the stars quickly emerged as the theme of the fair, trumping what organizers had originally planned as a festival of the American West. The fair's vision of the future was strangely antiseptic. It was rooted in technology and the continued improvement of the American standard of living. The telephone company, the dominant Bell system, led the way forward.
Keeping in touch by means of the amazing new Bell Boy is the Bell system's answer today for doctors, salesmen, delivery men, or anyone who must be available at all times in the fast-paced world of Century 21. When someone calls and you are out, you can be reached by dialing your Bell Boy code number.
What 1962 engineers considered a breakthrough in office communication, we now see as nothing more than a first-generation pager. In this context, the iPhone would have been looked upon as science fiction. Another fiction here, that the country would continue as it always had, like it was riding on rails, always moving forward like the fair's popular monorail. The future seemed rosy. No one could know that in a year's time, all the shiny optimism would crash and burn like that jet on opening day. The Century 21 Exposition ran from April until October in 1962. By the end of its run, 10 million people had walked through the gates. Unlike other fairs of the era, Century 21 was profitable. And my thanks to the folks at our affiliated partner, KOMO TV in Seattle, for help in preparing that story.